Hey YouTube, it's Mrs. CP and Mr. CP. Today we are going to show you how to make SHTF bread. It is basically a bread that you don't need any type of buttermilk or yeast to make. It's not like your typical loaf of bread that you would buy at the store. It's got more of a bagel texture to it. But that's what we're going to show you today. Some of the items you're going to need is 4 cups of bread flour. You can also use white flour, but today we're using bread flour. 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, 3/4 teaspoon of baking soda, 2 cups of water, 1.5 cups of powdered milk, and 1 tablespoon of white vinegar. So first we're actually going to start by making our buttermilk. You're going to take your 2 cups of water and mix it with your 1.5 cups of powdered milk. And then you're going to add in your 1 tablespoon of white vinegar. And then you're just going to let that sit while you're actually mixing all of your dry ingredients and give it a little bit of time to actually your 4 cups of your bread flour in. Your teaspoon of salt, your 3/4 teaspoon of baking soda, and your tablespoon of baking powder. And then you're just going to want to mix all of that together. And while you're doing all this, be sure to preset your oven for 350 degrees. Once you have all your dry ingredients incorporated together, you're going to want to make a little hole in the middle and pour in your buttermilk. And you're just going to want to incorporate all that. You don't want to play with it too much, because the more you play with it, the tougher the bread will actually be. You have everything incorporated in the bowl. You're going to want to put it on a generously floured board to actually shape it into a ball. I always leave out a little extra flour to the side for when I do this. Alright, once you've gotten it shaped into a ball and it's no longer sticky, you're actually going to want to cut it in half with a sharp knife so you can form 2 separate loaves. And then you're going to form those 2 separate loaves into their own little ball. What are you doing?
This here's for my experiment later.
You're going to fry it. You want me to take some from this one?
Yeah, that's alright.
Good. Once you have them formed into 2 separate balls, you're going to want to slice an X into the middle of them, because when they start to bake, they'll actually split and it helps it bake a little bit more evenly. And then you're gonna place them on your baking sheet, a grease baking sheet, or if you'd like, you can use parchment paper like I'm doing. Don't use wax paper. If you're gonna use anything, use parchment paper or grease your pan. And you're gonna bake it for about 35 to 40 minutes on 350 degrees. All right, so we let our bread bake for about 35 minutes at 350 degrees. The way you can tell that it's done is it'll turn like a brownish gold color. If you just stick a fork or a knife down the center of it, you pull it out and it comes out clean, your bread is done. We let it cool for about 15 to 20 minutes before we actually cut it. We usually put either butter or jam on ours. It doesn't usually last that long in our house. It does go stale after about 3 days, but as you see, it doesn't really last that long in our house. I made a batch yesterday and it's already gone. But be sure to check out the website because we will actually be posting the recipe on there for you to print it out. And be sure to follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our channel. Happy prepping!